March 30, 2025. After breakfast at the Samye resort, I played with their pet doggy for a while and then we started at 8:30 am on our way to the Bumthang Palace or Wangdu Choling Palace. This palace built by Namgyal, the father of the Bhutan's first king in the 19th century, sprawls over a vast land with greenery and a temple within the complex, and it overlooks the Bumthang airport. It also houses an ancient museum within the compound.
Bhutanese Namgyal. In the year 1881, he was coming from Punakha to Thimphu. In the palace where I sit, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi planted trees and gave speech. So Bhutanese Namgyal, he...
So the airport is here only?
Yes, sir. It's just opposite to the airport.
Okay.
But since this Sunday today, I'm not really sure whether they will open or not.
Sunday, yeah, it is not open. No, Sunday is closed.
But, you can have a look around. You can.
We spent some time admiring the beauty of the palace and then started on our journey towards Phobjikha Valley. We reached the cluster of 108 white flags seen on our way to Bumthang 2 days ago. Sonam explained everything about it in detail as promised.
So this one is prayer flag. So this one originally started from Nepal. And here in Bhutan we generally use 5 different colors: white, yellow, red, green and blue. So white one is to white of all your negativities and bring in positivities.
Okay.
We call it as benign here.
Okay.
And yellow one is for longevity. So they have a long life in love, which is the yellow one. Then red one is for love. We call it as Bumthang. Then green and blue is for like battle, means seeking protection from local deities, bringing them under our control, and even some enemies. And yes, if you happen to see a group of white flags like this one, okay, so this one is generally for the deceased ones who have passed away. So we should sticks there. So this dagger symbolizes word of wisdom, Manjushri, and the stick represents the will of Dharma. And normally we remove the cover of this coal in order to symbolize Avalokiteshvara, God of compassion. And the base of the pole is always kept thicker, which symbolizes Vajrapani, the god of power. That's all about this prayer flag.
Okay. So let's go there.
Yes. And when people passes away, they hoist 108 prayer flags. Then we perform ritual for 49 days. And these prayer flags will contain the mantra of Avalokiteshvara, since he promised to empty all the hell and guide us. Mantra of Avalokiteshvara, which says Om Mani Padme Hum.
So the top of the pole is the dagger, right?
Yes, the dagger.
Okay.
God of wisdom.
Okay.
Then will of Dharma.
Okay.
Then we remove the cover and make it appear white. And white symbolizes purity here.
Okay, okay.
And it can also represent Avalokiteshvara.
Okay.
And base is always kept thicker,
Okay.
which symbolizes God of power.
Okay.
Yes.
So these are totally 108 flags.
Yes. 108.
So it is symbolic for one deceased person,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Okay.
Yes.
For each person they are erecting 108.
Yes. So
Not for one family.
No, for each person. So 108 in Hinduism also is auspicious
Okay.
number. Here in our country also is auspicious.
So the cost is borne by the family itself.
Yes.
Okay. After
Yes.
deceased.
Yes.
Okay.
Here, when people are giving birth and when people are marrying, the expenditure is not that much.
Okay.
But when people passes away,
Ah.
the expenditure is
Oh. Okay.
very
Okay.
expensive.
Okay.
because we have to perform ritual for 49 days.
Ah.
We have to pay for all the monks who have
Yes.
came for rituals.
Yes.
Then even for all the people who have come to help.
Okay.
So we have to provide them food, some sleeping places.
Ah.
From morning till next morning, we
Okay.
have to provide them tea, alcohol for guarding the body. Until the next, until the cremation day.
Final cremation.
Cremation day. Yes.
So
I'll just
these are the,
come back.
okay. These are the flags, and you can see there are actually about 108 flags here, all ruffling in the wind. This is very typical of Bhutan, and he says it was adapted from Nepali culture.
Prayer flags on a mountain ridge, on a bridge, on a river bank, and around your houses where there is wind.
Okay.
So when the wind blows,
Uh,
it ruffles this prayer flag and it helps
okay.
to chant the mantra.
Okay.
So whoever comes in contact with this mantra gains some merits and even clear their defilements and
Okay.
bring in positivities.
Okay.
Even animals, those when we hoist a prayer flag on the river bank, so those animals in the fish, I mean in the river, fishes and all, they also gain some merits from these things.
Okay. Okay. So they have to pay for the land to the
No, sir.
government. No.
No land, but we have to ask permission from the forest department
Okay.
to cut down these prayer poles.
Okay.
And even for the cremation route, we have to ask permission from the forest
Okay.
department.
Okay. That's it. Thank you. After we crossed Yutongla Pass, Sangye stopped the car. He and Sonam showed us rhododendron grown in abundance by the roadside. They also picked some flowers for us.
45 नहीं 46 है 46 डिफरेंट स्पीशीज होता है
अच्छा
और इसको रोडोडेंड्रन बोलता है
ओके
लेकिन हमारा भूटान का नेशनल फ्लैग जो है फ्लावर जो है वो ब्लू पप्पी है सर
अच्छा इसमें कलर एक ही आता है
हाँ कलर तो एक ही आता है
ओह ब्यूटीफुल ब्यूटीफुल बहुत खूब
फूल को लेके आ गया ना
नहीं मैडम का दीजिए
दिया तो आपका भी
थैंक यू दिस इज rhododendron rhododendron such a beautiful flower thank you Sangye bhai okay nice
Then we went ahead and crossed the Trongsa town. From Pelela, we took a deviation towards the hidden valley of Phobjikha, followed the narrow road, and reached the Lawa Pass at 10,663 feet. After reaching Lawa Pass, we spent some time visiting the Chorten and capturing photos and videos. Then we moved further down the narrow road into the hidden valley, Phobjikha, famous for black-necked crane conservation project. Phobjikha is a beautiful valley with hillocks all around and a vast marshland in the center. We visited the lovely Gangtey Monastery where some renovation was going on.
बैठे रहे टिकट है उधर The name of this temple is Gangtey, which is derived from the fact that it's built on a peak of a hillock. So we call it as Gang. Gangtey means hillock. And this monastery is constructed in 1613 by the first Gangtey Tiku with the Gangtey Monastery. And right now is everything is looked after by the 9th incarnation. Gangtey Monastery. Temple is that is the temple with the 12 corners. When the Black Neck Crane, when they visit here during the winter, when they migrate here, so they circumambulate the temple for 3 times. And then from when we do a nature trail walk, so you will find a very meadow there. The front there lands here. From here, no care, no photo care.
Okay.
आप ये नहीं लगा सकते हो मैडम
Outside I'll just
by the president
Views from the monastery are stupendous. Then we had lunch at a local restaurant. While Sonam and Sange chose tea and coca, I settled for pakoda with ginger lemon tea. Meena was not in the mood to eat anything. Sonam also asked us if we want to do nature walk, but time was running out and we skipped that. From Phobjikha town, we went to see the Marshland and saw a few yaks grazing. Walking inside this marshland is restricted to public because it is reserved for black-necked crane conservation. It was a memorable time we had there with a gush of cold wind blowing. Then we visited the Black-Necked Crane Center where 2 injured cranes, one female and one male, are kept in captivity. There is a documentary film exhibited within the center about the black-necked cranes that migrate from Tibet in winter and leave when the cold season is over. We watched that. They charge an entry fee of 100 per adult, which includes exhibition of the film.
स्ट्रे डॉग ने इंजर्ड किया था और ये तो लेफ्ट विंग खराब हो गया था.
एक मेल एक फीमेल या दोनों मेल है क्या है?
वो दोनों मेल जैसे ही चल रहे हैं.
पेमा कर्मा हेलो.
उसका लिम्प नहीं है ना सर, और एक का विंग.
ओ Karma and Pema. After a good time at Phobjikha, we travelled back to Punakha. When we reached Wangdu Phodrang district, Sangye drove through the district headquarters, Bajo. They welcome us with tea during check-in, and after a tasty dinner and a pastry roll for dessert, we took rest for the night. March 31, 2025. After breakfast at the White Dragon Hotel, we left Punakha at around 8 am.
Alun new Kamlap Sadi Mata, Sadi, Gogi Hagoma. Sakana Maruka, that the Higo of Sayana, they were a charity. Saratom, the budget. Anna Joe type, money, let that's one. Then you give him a then you bring it to come to this is a garage.
As we cruised along the Simtokha highway, we passed by a herd of yaks as we neared Dochula Pass. Reached Dochula at 9:15 a.m. Since we had already covered the 108 Chotins on our onward journey to Punakha, we skipped visiting them this time.
Temple है ना?
This is a fort.
Fort. Okay.
At 10 a.m., we reached another 17th century fortress in Bhutan, Simtokha Dzong, also known as Sangak Zabdon Podrang, meaning the keeper of secret chants, situated in the outskirts of Thimphu city.
जी मैडम हाँ उधर से ऊपर से एंट्रेंस उधर से
This is supposed to be the oldest fortress in Bhutan, built in 1629 by Zabdrung Ngawang Namgyel. Admission is free into this fortress. Sonam took us around the fortress and narrated history. Sonam also mentioned about our Prime Minister Modi visiting there and planting a sapling in the garden.
So this cypress tree is planted by Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji
Okay.
as a gesture of friendship.
Okay.
2019. जी मैम. So the name of this fort is Simtokha, which can be translated as evil force subdued under the rock.
Okay.
Okay. So this fort is the first and the oldest fort of the country. It was constructed in the year 1629, and the second Tibetan invasion also took place in this fort, and later on is renovated again in the year 1630 by our temporary and spiritual leader, Zabdrung Ngawang Namgyel. You can also call him as the founder of Bhutan. And in this fort, okay, this is also where our first father of our first king passed away. And the unique thing about this fort is this is also a fort with the 12 corners.
Yeah. Because sun is falling there.
And even our
तू आगे लगे रहो.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he gave his speech here, and you can see here a cypress tree planted by him as a gesture of friendship. So let's go and visit inside. But inside you are only allowed to visit the assembly hall of the monks.
Okay.
There is a 1 year later, he renovated this fort.
ये सब पे लाने लगे नाकिल नाकिल बने इधर तो कहाँ भी हो सकते हैं वैसे बिजनेस बिजनेस पोस्टर
Yesterday you have seen been again 81 his date of birth. So in 1881 he passed away in the spot.
Oh.
On the way towards Thimphu he fell down somewhere at a place called Hunso from Yak. You can see some underground windows.
Uh-huh.
All of those there is one entry and one exit. So in the olden times, for a while it was division. Yes, and they even make people out of straw. And they were then our please make sure you use it here. Because still halfway, where two river meets, we will not be having any washroom.
Okay. You tell madam, I'm
Yes,
okay.
I told you.
I'm okay.
But in Chuuzom, it will take us around like 30 minutes, 30 or 35 at the max.
To
Reach the place where the river meets, two river meets.
Okay.
And we have a washroom there.
Okay.
And if you want some tea and all, you can have it there. There's some tea stalls.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have it there.
We left Simtokha, Dzong at 10:30 a.m. and after a short break in Thimphu, we headed for Paro. Paro is 50 kilometers from Thimphu, and the highway goes up and down the mountains parallel to the river Wang Chu or Thimphu Chu before crossing the Chuuzom bridge at the confluence of Paro Chu with Wang Chu. Chuuzom Bridge is a lovely spot surrounded by high mountains, and the confluence of two rivers gives a romantic feel to this place. From here, one road goes to Phuncholing, another to Ha Valley, and the third to Paro.
हाँ सर, उधर जेब्रा क्रॉस करके उस तरफ आइए।
एक मिनट।
हाँ, उधर से कुछ दिखने वाला नहीं है। हाँ, ये इंडियन गवर्नमेंट ने बनाया है।
हाँ हाँ
इंडिया भूटान।
हाँ
तो जो पानी उधर से आ रहा है राइट साइड से,
हाँ
वो
ओ
वांगचू बोलते हैं उसको,
हाँ,
थिम्पू से आ रहा है ना सर।
हाँ, हाँ।
और इधर जो इधर से आ रहे हैं लेफ्ट
हाँ,
साइड से,
हाँ।
उसको पचू बोलते हैं।
ओ।
ये दोनों कंबाइन होके नीचे उधर चुखा डिस्ट्रिक्ट में जाके
ओ,
उधर
ओ।
इलेक्ट्रिसिटी प्रोड्यूस करते हैं।
अच्छा। और एक उधर से आता है, एक इधर से आता है।
हाँ। और इस जगह का नाम है चुनजोम।
हाँ।
चुनजोम मतलब वेयर टू रिवर मीट्स।
ओके। संगम जैसा सुमझुम.
हाँ सर, इधर
हाँ,
चूज़ोम.
चूज़ुम.
चू मतलब रिवर
हाँ.
और जोम मतलब टुगेदर.
ओके.
हाँ
चूज़ुम.
हाँ. तो हम इधर स्तूपा दिख रहे हैं ना सर.
हाँ.
हाँ, वो ऐसा है कि जहाँ 3 पानी या 2 पानी, 3 माउंटेन ये मिक्स टुगेदर होता है ना सर.
हाँ.
तो उस प्लेस को थोड़ा ये डरावना माना जाता है,
अच्छा.
इसलिए स्तूपा बना है.
अच्छा.
This river is a major tributary of river Brahmaputra. There are a few eateries here also selling essential commodities. We didn't eat anything here. We spent some time here capturing video and photo before continuing our journey towards Paro.
lagi na po na siya. Magsalita mo na.
네, 뭐 그런 게